From the first moment I met him, Josh was the type of strong, successful male that was impossible for me not to be smitten with. You know, those people that say, I don't know what I'm looking for in relationships, but I'll know when I'll find it. I'm not that type of person. I always knew exactly what I wanted in a relationship. And a polyamorous three-way dynamic was definitely not on my map. But when I met him, he brought that to my knowledge. And he asked me if that's something that I would be interested in trying, if that's something that would make me happy. And I remember thinking, the first thought in my head was, how is Char feeling about all of this? Is this something that she could be interested in? Turns out when I met her that she was all in, like both of them, they were so interested in creating the polyamorous relationship that we have today. What we have today, the three of us, the throuple that you see today is possible because of Josh's ability to do polyamory as a hinge. His drive and determination has inspired this podcast and has inspired us to bring our lifestyle to the world and create the changes that we want to create. Through our podcast, we sometimes hear how jealousy and the fear of being replaced can affect the successful integration into a throuple dynamic. And sometimes I can't stop by thinking if the hinge partner is a mindful, aware partner, if they could possibly avoid some of these problems. And this is why we're making this episode today. We want to discuss what are the main qualities of a hinge partner? What do they have to do? And what do they have to bring to the table in order to achieve successful integration in a V dynamic? Char, when I met you, you were all in creating the V dynamic that we had. What was it, in your opinion, the most important thing that Josh did in order to prepare your relationship and you for the next steps?
Oh gosh, I think there were a lot of things that he had done, especially in like the year and a half or so since we had found out that he was polyamorous until we met you. Like I saw how much effort he had put into being the best possible version of himself and the best possible partner he could be to me. And I knew that he wasn't gonna back off on still putting as much effort into being what I needed him to be, even with an additional partner. And I also knew very confidently what he valued in his relationship with me, what he was going to continue needing from me. And I knew that even as dynamics changed, and if my needs changed, that I could talk to him at any point and say, hey, I didn't need this before, but I'm needing this now. And I knew that his deep desire to be that amazing partner wasn't going to change or be lessened by having somebody else.
I think that's the key word right there, is the desire. The number one thing to be a good hinge partner is the desire, the willingness and wanting to constantly better yourself, work on yourself. Without the desire, you're lacking the main ingredient.
Yeah, that is the main quality that you have, that you bring to the table as a hinge partner, because like Char said, things change. You're never going to be completely on top of everything. You're going to be required to improve or change. And the fact that you want to give 100% and you know it takes work and you're not lazy and you're willing to do it, that sets you up for success.
Correct. Yeah. I would say the second most important thing is communication. And we hear it all the time. We talk about it all the time, communication, but it's the willingness, the desire to improve, but you need the communication to find out what areas are you lacking in.
Right.
And the most important part of the communication is listening, and not just listening to respond, but listening to actually hear.
Right. That is definitely one of the hardest things when it comes to communication. You're right. One of my favorite things, Josh, of how you were a hinge partner for me and Char is that you allowed us to have alone time, her and I, and get to know each other and be friends. And you watched the kids, for example, and we had girls' nights. And you even organized girls' nights for us. Okay. And that was really beautiful. And you never pushed any type of vision or idea that you had for our relationship. You just kind of let us develop it.
Yeah, he created the space for it. Yeah, he did not ever envision that we would be a throuple like we are now, but he created the space to just let us organically turn into whatever it could be.
That's true. Yeah. Originally, the idea was hinge. That's what I envisioned.
The V dynamic. I
never thought about that we were going to end up as a throuple.
Yeah.
I wasn't against it. It just wasn't.
Right. And that, exactly. And that, I think when Char and I got closer together, there was a time where you were put in a situation that you were not anticipating, and you got to really put to work all those wonderful skills of yours, and maybe deal with fear of losing or jealousy or any kind of insecurity like that. And that proves, again, that your determination to better yourself, to commit, to put 100% of your energy into the relationship, it paid off.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. All those rose to the surface at some point.
Yep.
It was something to push through. And you come out the other side, that much better for it. So,
yeah. One of the things, I think, one of my favorite things of seeing Josh as a hinge, and now even in a throuple, is seeing him be able to take full advantage of and really lean into his capacity for his relational abilities. Like I've never known anybody that has the capacity for intimacy and relational connection the way he does. Like, I mean, even his friendships, like he has friendships that go back, 25, 30 years, and they're like brothers, and the way that he is as a brother for his brothers and sisters and as a son and everything, like everywhere you look, like he really cares about his relationships. And then seeing him be able to really lean into that in the home has been like, it's beautiful to see. So I think a lot of people that maybe want the support of multiple partners, if you don't have that relational bandwidth, then being in a V dynamic might be more difficult. But for somebody like Josh, that's wired for this innately, like it's amazing to see how he gets even better, you have Jordan Peterson saying like, oh, if you have a relationship like this, the men are going to, or women are going to be getting less of the man. Like that's not at all how it is.
Right.
Not at all.
Right. And this is definitely, it's on a situational basis and from person to person. But yeah, in my opinion as well, like to be a good hinge partner, you have to be a mindful partner, and you have to be in touch with your feelings, and you have to know how to deal with uncomfortable feelings, because there is a lot of responsibility upon you.
Correct. You have to be very good at planning in the calendar.
Yeah.
Making time and planning ahead and being organized.
That joke a lot lately. Like, what does it take to be a good hinge partner? A Google Calendar, shared Google Calendar.
Yes. It was more difficult when we wore a hinge starting out because, and I'll say this, it's because it's more challenging to have that one-on-one date night. So it's the date nights are split up, and you're worried, am I spending enough time with you? Am I spending enough time with you? Am I spending enough time with the kids? What about my other relationships? What about my friendships?
Right.
Yeah. But when we became a throuple, that helped a lot because now we could start doing things together.
It made it easier.
So I wasn't, even though I have the capacity for loving so many people, it's like, but time, you only have so much time. That's that's a resource. And you only have so much of it. So that is the one thing I'd say to our listeners. So if you're looking to get into hinge, you better be ready for
all the time.
How much you're going to have to plan out your schedule to make sure that you can be spread, and how far can you be spread? And
sometimes too, especially if your partners don't live with you, that sometimes they are both going to have something where they really want your support, and you might have to choose sometimes. So having that knowledge and being able to cope with that without giving into the poly guilt of having to be all things to all people.
Yeah.
And one very important attribute that a hinge has to have, it's the emotional ability to hold space for different types of emotions at the same time. Because when you have two partners, especially for a man, everybody knows that women have more emotional ups and downs. So for a man to be a hinge to two women, one of us may have a good day, one of us may have a bad day, and you have to be there to support both of us throughout that time. So good luck, guys.
And knowing too that as the relationship dynamics change, and even just life stages change, your partners are going to need different things from you. And just that flexibility, like that's something Josh has always been really good at, is being flexible as my needs change and as your needs change, to just do what he can. Like, okay, you need this from me, I'll do that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. And knowing that you want to, because that's your desire. You want to be the best partner you can be.
He takes that. This is something that I have not noticed. I haven't found in any other partner I've ever had. You take making us happy, you take it as your duty, as your responsibility. I can see it. I can feel it. You are taking it very seriously. You're not trying to get away from like, oh my gosh, she's having a bad day. I've got to get out of here. Or like, she's not happy. Oh, bitches be crazy, you know? No, you take it very seriously. Like, it's your job. If we're not happy, even if it's not your fault, you still think that you might have done something. Like, you haven't done something as much as you should have, you know?
You look like you're having a tough day. Would you like to go to Torchy's and get some tacos and margaritas?
At 10 a.m.
Yes, please.
Yes. I think one of the things too that has made him very successful at doing that, being there when we need him, is that he is also very mindful of what he needs and communicative about that as well. It's like, and I know because he's so communicative about that, and he tells me like, hey, I need this space for myself. I need this to recharge me. I know that if I'm having an off day and I need something more from him than I usually do, that he's not going to say yes at his own detriment. Yeah. So I know like I can always come to him and say, hey, I need this. And he'll be like, okay, yeah, absolutely. I can do that for you. Or like, okay, I hear you. And yes, I want to meet that need, but first I need to take care of, you know, like the whole oxygen mask, you know, you put your own oxygen mask on first, and then I can take care of you. And I just always know that I am going to be taken care of.
Yeah, that is one of the common pitfalls of being a hinge, where you're trying so hard, like, especially for someone like you, if you don't know how to take care of yourself first, you will try to please everyone until you're just spent. So like, you have to make sure you take care of yourself first, put that oxygen mask on yourself first before you do it for somebody else.
Exactly.
And that I even learned a lot from his example in that, because I was not the type for a long time that would put my own oxygen mask on. Yeah, I would run myself until I had nothing left to give, and I wouldn't want to ask for anything more.
Right.
And then once I realized that I can ask for more, then everything really changed at that point. And then I also started taking time for myself and taking care of myself.
Yeah. Definitely. Like for me, that is my main, like what's my strength is like taking care of myself. I know that if I'm not taking care of myself, like I need my little alone time, then everything's just going to like unravel. It's going to be a disaster for everyone involved.
Yeah. If you're enjoying this episode so far, please hit that like button. And for more content like this, please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when there's new content.
And share it with all your friends.
If you're looking to connect with others in this community and embracing alternative lifestyles, we have a new Facebook community group called Throuple Talks Connection Hub. So head over to Facebook and join that group. It is a private group, and we hope to see you there. Stay tuned for outtakes at the end.
My favorite thing about Josh's hinge ability is how good he is in bed. Because it's something that you question when you go into a V dynamic. You're like, is this man going to have enough energy for both of us? Because I thought about it. I don't think we ever talked about it because it was never needed. But I did think about it. Like, is he going to have enough energy to like be present and sexually satisfying to both of us? And you do.
Yeah.
You do. You give 100% and you are spectacular. And I am very happy. I never felt like I am not getting enough sex.
Not only, you two both tap out before I did. How that works?
Shh. There have been times where I had to leave the bedroom and ask for help. Ask Char.
Yes, this man has stamina
galore.
I can't even talk. It's so...
He takes his response. I mean, I think men, when they have sex, they do it for the macho bonus points. I could see it all the time. Like, look at me. Yeah, you like that? I'm so good. But like for him, it is a responsibility. He needs to satisfy his women. I can see it. It's the way he acts. It's just different. And that's what makes him unbelievably satisfying. I feel like it's all about, not in a uncomfortable way, but it is all about us. He wants to please his ladies, and that is pleasure for him.
It was something that I was a little bit, maybe not concerned about, but it was a thought, like if I would feel like the seconds, like especially when there was the NRE was so strong with you guys at the beginning, and I never felt like that.
Like he's not giving 100%. He's not 100% there with you.
That, or like he was just with me out of responsibility or duty, so I didn't feel left out. Like,
right.
No, like, and because he was able to lean into who he was so fully relationally and sexually, that did return to me. It gave our intimacy and our sex life a new life that you usually don't get when you're refreshed 16 years into marriage, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we have so much sexual energy float around all the time.
We do.
It's like, you know, what you said, your flirting starts after the last orgasm,
right.
you know, so it's like it's constantly floating around. It's like when you get your, you know, your sex life is operating at that, it's like it just stays there.
Right.
It's not like you only have, I have heard men tell me that married men, I have it like twice a month. Like, what?
Right.
That's insane.
And I guess it's all about the energy within the couple, throuple, or whatever dynamic it is. Like if it's an energy that feeds upon each other, like even if you may have like a lower libido day, but the other person is still kind of keeping things like flowing, then you're just going to keep feeding on each other.
Exactly.
So it's like,
keep the libido revved high.
Yep. Yep. It's always exciting.
Yes.
Every time we had any kind of communication issues or any kind of disagreements within either the V or the throuple later, Josh, you've always been on point with taking leadership and taking, helping us communicate, Char and I communicate better. And if you saw there's something that we're not doing as you thought we should be doing, you gently nudge us in the right direction. I think that's always been very helpful. Sometimes I feel like, not necessarily Char and I or you, but like any of us at any point can act a little childish because it's normal and we're human beings. And you have been always on point to spot that and point it out gently.
Yes.
Not in an aggressive, like grow up, you know, type of way, but saying, hey, I'm noticing this issue. Do you think you might be improving this if you would do something? And I'm like, well, maybe. So yeah, that's been very helpful.
I think one of the challenging things is when something's brought up and I'm trying to understand, is this just venting? Or are you asking me to solve a problem? Because I can do that.
Yes.
But,
you're very good at problem solving. I am very good at venting. I always have to say, this is venting. I don't need you to help me. Just listen.
I think he's always been really good too. I think about knowing the balance between oversharing and undersharing, like making sure that everybody has the information that we deserve to have, you know, like you don't want to keep things from each other, but also there does need to be some privacy in each relationship as well. So giving space for that. Or if he notices that maybe there's some tension between you and I, he doesn't like dig it, like, all right, tell me everything. And just like you said, like just kind of the gentle nudge of, hey, you know, is there something, maybe you guys could make some space to talk. And
I remember one of the challenges when we first started as a Hinge was no one was taking care of me. Everything that Char used to do for me, she started assuming she didn't need to do because you were there, and you always thought Char was going to take care of it. And then it's like pretty soon I'm like, the things I was used to get done for me, like, nobody made me lunch. Like there's no, what's going on around here?
Yeah.
I admit that's probably one of the most challenging things that we deal with because it's not like we sat down and said, okay, this is your job and this is my job and this is your job. And sometimes either we both try to do the same thing for you or nobody does.
There was a learning curve there.
Communication. Tell us what you need.
Being a polyamorous Hinge is a full-time job. It is something that is not to be taken lightly. It takes an amazing amount of skill, drive, and determination. And with the limited resources that we have out there for polyamorous relationships, except for our podcast, it's really hard to know when you give too much, when you're not giving enough, and how to do it right. And the secret to success here is, like Josh is saying, listen well, take into consideration everybody's feelings, and also take into consideration your needs, and make sure that you start with every day from a place of love. How can I make the people in my life happy? And how can I enable the people in my life to make me happy? And that is the main secret to a successful V dynamic in polyamory.
Being a Hinge partner is a huge responsibility And it is a challenge to take on. But like we were saying, some people like Josh are wired to not only want to take on that challenge, but to thrive when they have that challenge in front of them. And when it's done right and intentionally, you can have beautiful, long-lasting relationships that not only withstand the time, but also things that, sometimes the social stigma is negative coming at us. But because what we have is so beautiful, it's easy to just kind of let that stuff roll off.
Yep, definitely. It makes it much easier and all worth it.
Yes, always worth it.
Do you have what it takes to be a good hinge? Get in touch with us and let us know, how are you a hinge partner? What do you do to be a good hinge partner?
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this content with others you think might benefit from it. Thank you.
And don't forget to connect with us on Facebook. We'll see you next time.
Bye.